We're queer. We're queering.
We're the Zoom Boys. Welcome to the Zoom Boys. More Zoom to news and more fuse to pews. Zoom is sponsoring this podcast only because we're communicating via Zoom. So we're basing the entire podcast around Zoom. We're going to be talking about benefits with Zoom, screen techniques with Zoom, what you're allowed to do with Zoom on international waters. You know, all the Zoom questions you got, we're the Zoom boys here to answer.
Oh, hell yeah. Totally 100% underwritten by Zoom.
Noah, what do you think as an official representation of Zoom? What is your what questions do you have about Zoom podcast?
What questions do I have about Zoom podcasts? I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank.
We're all about drawing blanks here. Nevin's impotent.
No.
I have no idea how to draw. I have a very rare disorder. I cannot draw anything. I tried to draw a stick figure one time. It just ended up being a slur. It was very upsetting to my kindergarten teacher.
Wait, it's okay. All right. We need to get down to the brass tacks here.
I was going to say Harrisonburg, Virginia, and the Shenandoah Valley used to be known as Zoomtown because of the local meth head population.
I was going to certainly not for the speed of the drivers.
Can you guys hear me? Because I'm really have a lot to say about methamphetamine use in the Shenandoah Valley.
Yes, we can hear you. Go off, King.
Yeah, how fun and amazing it is to look at the majestic Blue Ridge Mountains while totally strung out on methamphetamine.
This statement is sponsored by Zoom. Remember, you're
spiritually in touch. I feel when with my ancestors, my Appalachian ancestors, when I smoke some methamphetamine out of a light bulb pipe and stare up at the Blue Ridge Mountains and just reflect on the beauty and the glory before the meth kicks in and I start feeling insects crawling all over my body.
You start reflecting on the beauty while you reflect poorly on Harrisonburg at large. It's a beautiful thing, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah. I am Harrisonburg's shame and disgust condensed, condensed into a physical entity. Like I'm like the psychic regret of every person in Harrisonburg, just condensed into a physical form.
I've been away from Harrisonburg long enough where I feel like a tourist when I'm there. I'm like, ooh,
you are.
That popcorn place has Mrs. Doubtfire's face on it. How quirky and quaint.
Straight up fucking used, why are they using Mrs. Doubtfire? A, disrespectful to Robin Williams, the late Robin Williams. B, why the fuck are you using Mrs. Doubtfire to sell popcorn?
Right, was there a link to, Mrs. Doubtfire and popcorn usage?
Was there a Mrs. Doubtfire scene involving popcorn? I don't know.
That scene where Mrs. Robin Williams is peeing and the kid looks horrified. It actually wasn't a transphobic scene. It's just that there were popcorn popping out of her dick the entire time, and the kid's like, ah.
Mrs. Doubtfire does the classic popcorn trick.
Yeah, it's an old sitcom trope, the classic popcorn coming out of a dick scene. I think it was stolen from the Honeymooners, but it arguably could have been the Flintstones because they were kind of paying homage to the Honeymooners often.
Oh, yeah, the Flintstones, they had all sorts of shit come out of their dicks because, they were, it was a Stone Age. They didn't have antibiotics and shit, so they had all sorts of fucking fucked up Stone Age STDs.
Yeah, kidney stones took on a whole new meaning in that universe.
Yeah.
Wait, so you're saying they had Fruity Pebbles coming out of their
right.
Yeah, that's actually how Fruity Pebbles, that was the origin of Fruity Pebbles. That's why they're linked together.
Yeah.
Fruity Pebbles was just their cute slang for gonorrhea.
Which they tried to cure with Flintstones chewable vitamins.
One a day keeps the pus at bay. Alright, so I've been thinking about something a lot. We're in tumultuous times politically. There's a lot of shit going down. There's war in Iraq, potentially. There's impeachment. But something that's been keeping me up at night, I recently remembered this show that used to exist called Father of the Pride. Noah, I know Nevin doesn't know this. Noah, have you heard of Father of the Pride?
watched it earlier today because of you.
Oh shit! You did research.
Okay, Nevin. So I'm gonna fill you in. Father of the Pride was a social satire CGI series that was created by Jeffrey Katzenberg of DreamWorks. It was in 2004, and during the 2004 Olympics, commercials for it were on, I think, every commercial break that day because it premiered right after the Olympics had happened, right? So it stars a family of white lions that are all CGI in the DreamWorks style, like Shrek characters, who are like a bumbling sitcom family that are. And the main lion is Larry, and he's voiced by John Goodman. And he stars as one of the starring lions from Siegfried and Roy's show.
Wait, actually, it's not like Schmigfried and Boy.
No, Siegfried and Roy. Siegfried and Roy were the executive producers on it.
Oh, okay. So this is a Siegfried and Roy vehicle,
Yeah. But the funny thing about it is that they had to stop production because the show was conceived right before Roy was mauled by a lion. So then they had this sitcom about lions in the Siegfried and Roy show. They were like, oh god, because he was injured in 2003, so they had to wait until a year to make sure he didn't die from it. And they're like, all right, we can put this out now.
I was gonna say, wasn't one of that was that motherfucker straight up murked by a lion? Wait, a lion or a tiger?
It might have been a tiger, actually. I think
it was a tiger that murked him, straight up, that was the uprising, the large cats of the Siegfried and Roy held captive and forced to ride unicycles for our amusement.
Little did we know they would come back with a full force with the movie Cats in 2019. The war isn't over, guys.
I know, right? And I also have to say that I want to thank the film Cats for awakening for me being able to come out as a member of the furry community. And I just want to thank the producers and the director of the film Cats. Who's the fucking director of Cats? That guy who made that shitty
Les Mis movie. He made Les Mis, the one where all the French people have Cockney British accents for some reason.
Yeah. It's fucking weird.
The bait. Oh, this is pretty bloody war, isn't it?
Les Mis is a butchery of a good Broadway musical, whereas Cats is a butchery of a bad Broadway musical, which then through some kind of math makes it good. It took something bad and made it even worse, which makes it good.
Well, the only kind of bad movie that genuinely feels good is that it has to be made in earnest. There's a reason no one watches Sharknado 3. It's because you could tell they don't care about that. They're intentionally trying to make a terrible movie.
Yeah. The Room, Plan 9 from Outer Space, Troll 2, Cats, made in earnest, all made in earnest.
Disclosure, made in earnest.
Yeah, made in earnest, become class masterpieces, whereas Sharknado 5 is trying to be a bad movie and is actually just cynical and tedious.
I got to get back to this though. Noah, which episode did you watch of Father of the Pride?
I think it was the first episode, and I distinctly remember the Siegfried and Roy intro. It's pretty hilarious.
Okay, so I can't remember if it's the pilot or not, but one of the main episodes that it's most remembered for, because Nevin, the thing about this show is that even though it's done with CGI characters, and it's clearly marketed towards kids, especially because Donkey, in character Donkey, has a full episode cameo where he shows up as a celebrity. Donkey from Shrek shows up in it. So it's clearly
he does a walk-in. He does Shrek does a walk-in. Is it actually Eddie Murphy?
Yeah, it's actually Eddie Murphy. And Donkey just comes on. He's like, I'm shooting a commercial. I'm not going to do my Eddie Murphy imitation on here. But he's like, I'm shooting a commercial here. And everyone's like, oh, it's Donkey. And then there's a stunt double, also voiced by Eddie Murphy, that everyone confuses him with. It's fucking crazy. But the point is, it seems like a kid's show, right? Because it's made by DreamWorks. It's not at all. It's very crude. It's unnecessarily crude to the point where the opening I think it was the opening episode. The premise is that John Goodman's wife is in heat and he wants to fuck her. And I distinctly remember my mom made me turn off the episode because I was like hyped. I was watching this as a kid. It was like for 4 hours, I was just getting pumped full of like, this is the new Shrek. You gotta watch it. Like 5 minutes in, John Goodman looks over at his wife and says, "It may be 9 o'clock in New York, but it's mountain time here."
All right. So we're basically here. I am like a fucking plebe praising Cats, which is so last week for its like aggressively out of left field, horny CGI cat action, when really this fucking shit was 2 decades ahead of that.
Oh yeah,
in terms
dude!
Of horny CGI cats.
It's John Goodman John Goodman White Tiger literally tried to fuck Cheryl Hines White Tiger. Cats has nothing. This is the Cats. Like, it's incredible. Andy Richter's on it. Lisa Kudrow, David Spade, Danny DeVito, Pauly Shore, and it was deleted. It was ended after a season because everyone was
Comrade Danny DeVito. This is an A+ cast. This is an A+ cast. And also, like, why is Shrek such a beloved surrealist meme, but not this? Like, where is the love? Where is the love for Father of the Pride here?
So we were talking about that. I think the idea is that Father of the Pride, like, it hasn't gotten past the fever dream phase. Like, the few people who would remember this probably think it was something they like invented in their head by mistake. In the same way that I often forget that Shrek was like a character and not like a 4chan meme.
Or like B-movie. Like, I'm an old ass motherfucker, so like I didn't realize the B-movie memes were people who saw B-movie as kids and were like having fever dream memories of B-movie. Because like I was like fucking 15 when B-movie came out or whatever. I was like already jerking off to hentai, or I didn't care about the fucking B-movie. But like the B-movie meme, I gained a newfound appreciation for it when I was like, oh, like young adults who are making B-movie memes are remembering seeing this fucking Jerry Seinfeld fucking is a bee and dating a human woman and having a civil rights lawsuit about bees. Like, they saw that movie as kids and like
then remembered, oh, this is why my DeviantArt account was so weird. Like, that movie psychologically damaged a whole generation of kids.
Oh, for sure.
What's the deal with zoo files? Why do I want to fuck a zebra so bad?
Like, why is all of DreamWorks like entire fucking filmography of mid-2000s CGI movies about like animals fucking other animals or fucking people? Like, what is going on with that?
What's the deal with having sex with animals? Why do I jerk off in theaters for cats? When are the police going to stop me?
Fucking God.
Noah, what movie from your childhood? What movie from your childhood made you want to fuck an animal?
Oh, I really don't have a good answer for that.
Yo, the fucking shit.
I haven't heard of that movie, man. It sounds pretty good though.
The shit movie, yeah. The poo emoji, Patrick Stewart, the poo emoji, and the Emoji Movie. Fucking it's so fucking fine.
Yo, I watched that movie after I had a belly button hernia, and so I was hopped up on Oxy, and I was like, I don't get it. It's not that bad. And then, like, recently over Christmas break, my fiance was watching it, and I was like, this is the worst fucking movie I think I've ever seen in my life.
Well, it's kind of because it's like, I think the thing, I watched it, I was babysitting my ex-girlfriend's daughters, and like they really wanted to watch it, and it's kind of like just more an ad for like various cell phone apps, like.
But they were already defunct when the movie came out. It was like, do this ad from like 2010.
Yeah, like none of those apps exist anymore. Yeah, like so there's like a quality of it I appreciate on that level where it's just this weird artifact of late capitalism that like maybe was like it was insidious for like an hour because like after the because the Lego movie really took off, and after the Lego movie, Hollywood was all like, this is it, like we're making all this money off of like narrative intellectual properties like Star Wars and Marvel, like maybe like we can take non-narrative intellectual properties like Angry Birds and Lego and turn them into big budget movies. So then like
I want to see like a gritty procedural medical drama based on the game Operation. Yes. There's like an iconic scene where they accidentally like touch the side of where his femur bone is because they're like removing his bones for some reason. He just starts like bleeding out, and like his nose is like inflamed or something, or starts like bleeding blood, and like, we have to stop it, put it back in, don't touch the sides this time.
So, I'm picturing like some gruesome Saw torture porn, but it's Operation.
Like, Wolf of Wall Street, but it just stars the Monopoly guy.
Oh, totally. Which would be in the spirit of the original Monopoly, which was like a satirical anti-capitalist. Like, you bring that back. You bring that spirit back and just have, like, what's the fucking Monopoly guy's name? Like, Mr. Moneybag?
I think it's Mr. Monopoly. I don't think he has a name.
Yeah, it's just him being fucking, like, straight up Wolf of Wall Street, like, taking Quaaludes, like, sexually assaulting.
Oh my god, his name is Rich Uncle Pennybags.
Rich Uncle Pennybags.
Yeah. Noah, you're quickly already establishing yourself as the guy who doesn't say anything on the podcast.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, I'll be the straight man, I guess.
But you are the straight man.
None of us are straight. We don't have a straight man.
Hey.
We're all hedonistic queers just talking about pop culture and politics.
Can we talk about the obvious thing that no one is talking about, that Liz Warren is possessed by a Black Lodge spirit?
I haven't heard that one.
Yeah, no, Liz Warren totally. When Liz Warren falsely claimed Cherokee ancestry in order to get a diversity quota admission into Harvard Law, and thus robbing some poor kid in Pine Ridge or whatever of that opportunity, she was not the world of, I'm not talking about like whether or not the Native American spirituality, I'm not addressing that, but I think when she did that, she actually entered the Tulpa mindscape that David Lynch created when he created Twin Peaks, and got possessed by a Black Lodge spirit. And
so you're saying Elizabeth Warren is a Tulpa?
No, she's just possessed. Like, I'm saying the Black Lodge spirits from Twin Peaks are Tulpas, and she is possessed by one.
Oh, she's Tibet. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Hello, Nevin and Noah. So I'm Regional Bureau Chief Gordon Cole, and I'm here to talk to you about the information I have on Elizabeth Warren. It seems Elizabeth Warren has been possessed by some kind of Tulpa spirit, I'm hearing.
She's my cousin, but doesn't she look like Elizabeth Warren?
What's that? You'll have to speak up. My hearing isn't so good.
Her cheekbones are high.
She paints with all the colors of the wind.
You think the Pow Wow Chow cookbook has a reference for has a recipe for Garmonbozia?
I feel like that'd be a good YouTube series, is like making all of the terrible sounding recipes in Pow Wow Chow cookbook and then eating them on camera.
That should be our podcast. Yeah, I think it doesn't need to be a YouTube series. It doesn't need to be visual. Like fucking. Okay, I'd say like this about the Liz Warren. I know that we had a disagreement about this, but like both of her, setting aside the whole question of ethics and appropriation of Native American culture and racial fraud and all that stuff, both of the recipes that Elizabeth Warren, both of the quote-unquote Cherokee recipes that Elizabeth Warren submitted to Pow Wow Chow as a professional cook, quote-unquote professional cook, both of those recipes sound absolutely viscerally disgusting to me. Like, especially the cold crab omelet. Like, what the hey, who wants to eat a cold omelet? Like, that's like, what the fuck? And it's like bathed in mayonnaise. It's like a cold like crab omelet and mayonnaise. And then like her other recipe is like Mexican. Also, how is like a Cherokee recipe also Mexican? That confuses me. But like, it's like Mexican tomato oatmeal soup, which like, I don't know. I'm just like, these just sound nasty. That sounds like nasty shit. and it's like Garmin Bozia. Basically, Liz Warren is giving the recipe for a Garmin Bozia in her Pow Wow Chow recipes.
Diane, you've got to try their cold omelets with crab. They've got a cold omelet with crab that'll kill you. Once a day, give yourself a treat. It could be herb tomatoes, or it could be cold omelets with crab meat. Don't plan it, just let it happen.
Okay, so obviously in this Twin Peaks world that we're creating, Agent Cooper is Bernie. Bernie is Agent Cooper. Like,
yeah, totally.
Yeah, there's no question about that. Bernie is 100% Agent Cooper.
Like, I think that makes Tom Steyer Nadine.
Oh man, I felt like that, like Hot Mike of Bernie and Liz Warren, like that, like humanized Tom Steyer for me in ways that I didn't actually want him to be humanized, because he was that like awkward guy at the party who's like, oh hey guys, how's it going? Oh okay, you're having a little exchange right now. I don't want to get involved.
Yeah, it's like when you're drunk at a party and you go up to your two friends and then you see they're like arguing, and then you're like, oh god, I need to. Well, I love Tom Steyer because he's trying now. He knows that he's a meme, so he's trying to capitalize on it. So today, Trump tweeted out, "Steyer's a major loser. He just doesn't get it. This is the second time with Bernie." And then he just commented, "Donald, you're just jealous. Nobody wants to say hi to you. Impeachment is forever. Bye." That has to hurt. It's like he's trying so hard to do the clapbacks, but he's so terrible at it.
Also, like, it's not what I wanted to say. Oh my god! And also, like, the thing that Bernie said to him was like, "Okay, whatever." Like Bernie totally like blew him off. He was like in this like heated argument, and this like some guys like, and then he's just like, "Okay, whatever." Hey, but I was like, I love the idea of like Tom Steyer trying to make himself a forced meme, and like probably doesn't know what memes are.
I like the idea of Tom Steyer going on Facebook Live and just shoving salami in his mouth. Just like, I can do it, right? Do you guys think I'm cool yet?
Force feeding a cat salami. And like,
yeah, the cat. Like... It's like that scene in Seven where they make that guy eat spaghetti. He just has like a cat strapped down and he's shoving salami and like slowly murdering it. With enough grit, I can make my polls go up to 1%. Then I'll be a shoo-in for one of the random states.
I'm gonna bust through the 0.5% roof. Like
I'll be a shoo-in to be one of the front runners of Alabama.
Yeah. Like once I force feed this cat salami until it dies, like that's like he takes this like wholesome meme and just makes it
so disturbing.
He's gonna be like the next guy, like in that Netflix documentary, the guy who killed the cat or whatever. Like he's gonna be the next one of those, but by accident.
Right.
Like, he thinks like that's what the internet wants to see.
No, what are your thoughts on Tom Steyer murdering a cat? Is that cute? Would you meme that man?
Not cute, and I'm tired of his ads.
Oh yeah. Your parents watch a lot of daytime TV, right?
Precisely. So I mean, he's on TV a lot these days, yeah. But as are other politicians, but
yeah, Tom Steyer's been pushing real hard though, because he's not trying to get like New Hampshire or Iowa, because he knows he doesn't stand a chance.
And the Bloomberg ads like are pretty, grating, especially Bloomberg. It's just hard to watch.
Wait, I'm gonna sound dumb here, and this sounds like canned and staged, but it's not. Who the fuck is Mike Bloomberg?
I mean, I don't really know either. No, he was the mayor of New York City.
I heard someone say Mike Bloomberg. I need to jump in and say that I am the owner of the domain MikeBloombergisacuck.com.
Yeah, you are. Have you done anything with it yet?
I have not, because I'm a lazy piece of shit, but I still own it. I feel like I'm sitting on gold and I'm just letting it, like, I'm squandering it,
Dude,
like,
you have to get that up and running ASAP, because in, 2 weeks, no one's going to remember who Mike Bloomberg is.
Yeah, in 2 weeks he's gonna drop out. He's gonna be done, and he's gonna drop out into it. Like that domain name's gonna go from being worth $60,000 to being worth $0. Yeah, this is like a test run. This is a test run. No one is ever gonna hear this.
Oh no, I'm posting this online tomorrow.
Oh please Please do, please post this online. I really want actually this to go out.
People need to hear. People need to hear our. I want to put this out because there is a serious, and I mean this sincerely, a serious deficit in podcasts where a bunch of white guys get together and talk. There really aren't that many, and I just feel that our view needs to be heard more.
Especially a bunch of white guys getting together, talking, laughing at their own jokes, and discussing the 2020 Democratic primary.
Dude, you say 2016 because it feels like we're in 2016 again, dude.
So, like, here's the thing, like, about the 2016 primary that people are overlooking is that Trump won the contentious Republican 2016 primary by getting dirty, by insulting all of his opponents and insinuating that they had small penises. Although actually it was Marco Rubio who fired the first shot, insinuating Trump had a small penis. And then Trump replied with, "I have no problem there," which was a big dick energy move. But actually, I think Trump is such a narcissist. He just thinks he has a big dick. But regardless, Trump went full insult comic and won. And I think that's what Bernie needs to do to win. I think Bernie needs to make fun of Joe Biden for shitting his pants and being a decrepit piece of shit. And he needs to make fun of Elizabeth Warren for like committing racial fraud. And I think he just needs to go like full balls to the wall. That's my hot take.
Listen, Warren, I've got a plan for you. How about you shut the fuck up and let a Jew talk for once?
Can we talk about like how like Elizabeth Warren refused to shake a Jewish dude's hand and like a
former far-right member refuses to shake a Jew's hand.
And like direct descendant of Holocaust survivors, like immigrant Jew, like this fucking woman who was a Republican during the AIDS crisis, like she was a Republican during the while like thousands of gay men were dying of AIDS and like the Reagan administration was denying that AIDS exists. She was a Republican. Let's be clear, like white people pretend to be Cherokee. They don't pretend to be like Lakota because that's like not cool. Like that's like basically like being black or Mexican. Like they pretend to be Cherokee because the Cherokee like sided with the Confederacy and like owned slaves. Like that's like why like white people are man-sized Cherokee. So it's like a total like kind of fashy thing that she's like pretends to be Cherokee and not like fucking Shawnee or or Lakota. Or like the thing that I find hilarious is that Bernie, like I think this is why Liz Warren resents Bernie so much. Liz Warren has spent decades pretending to be a Native American and wanting to be a Native American desperately, and Bernie is just actually an honorary Native American. He's an honorary member of the I'm gonna mispronounce this horribly, but he's an honorary member of the
sound it out.
Salish, I don't know how to pronounce this correctly. It's a
solitaire. It's pronounced solitaire.
The Salish. It's a native nation in the Pacific Northwest. He's like an honorary member of this tribal nation because he's just a cool motherfucker and real recognizes real. Like Bernie is not like gonna be like, oh yeah, like I'm Indian, I'm 132nd Indian. He's just like a cool motherfucker and real recognizes real. And this tribe adopted him as an honorary member. And I think that infuriates Liz Warren because
Hey, I'm Jared. I'm Queso.
Sorry about that, everyone. Nevin was about to say some stuff that was going to get us canceled about Elizabeth Warren, and I want a career on SNL, so we had to cut him out and play that theme music. Play that funky music right here.
Americans live in lower quality housing in Manhattan compared to white Americans because of decades or perhaps centuries of discriminatory housing policies.
Thank you. We're starting again for a third time. It's good to see you. This podcast is exclusively about cats.
I got some real hot Louis C.K. tips. I'm a centrist, so I believe he should be allowed to play comedy shows again. But he should have to wear gloves covered in broken glass so he can't. Thank
you guys. We're gonna play him out for a second and come back. This has been another 40 seconds of the Zoom Boys. Welcome to the Zoom Boys. we're only allowed to talk about cats or Tom Steyer because, what else is there to talk about really right now?
Oh yeah. The thing that I was about to say that was going to get us canceled was that I think that that Jewish people and Native Americans are equally badass, and real recognizes real. Like they have a shared like badass like have been cultures that have been destroyed and have stood up, and there's a real recognizes real with that. Whereas Liz Warren is just like a white woman from Oklahoma, so she like wants to like suck that psychic energy out. She wants to like, she's like a little lamprey. But what happens when she tries to do that is she actually just gets buffed by a black kid.
I just played you off with Oscar music.
Yo, remember when Michael Moore was on?
I don't remember when Michael Moore was on that. No. What was that?
No, so Michael Moore won an Oscar for Best Documentary for like Bowling for Columbine or some shit. It's not even like, it's like that's like his most lib movie. Like it's a good movie, but like of course like Hollywood libs a little bit because it's like it's like a pro gun control movie. And like so they gave him an Oscar for it, but like it was during the middle of the Iraq War, so he was just like, "Yo, fuck the Iraq War," not in those words, but like. And then, like, they started playing the Oscar music, and, like, all the, like, people were booing him. But, like, the only two people who didn't boo him, the only two people who were clapping were Jim Carrey and Martin Scorsese.
I want to love Jim Carrey because he seems like a pretty woke dad type. But, like, we can't forget about his, like, anti-vax phase, right? Because that shit happened.
He had an anti-vax phase?
Oh, yeah, dude. He was super into anti-vax stuff while he was dating, I think it was Jessica Simpson.
Interesting. Wait, Jim Carrey dated Jessica Simpson?
I think it was Jessica. I get all the Jessicas or all the Simpsons mixed up. I think it was Jessica Simpson.
But it might have been Jessica Biel or Ashley Simpson.
It was not Jessica Biel. I actually... I have a thing with Jessica Biel. I remember all of the things that she has. No, it was Jessica McCarthy. Jessica McCarthy.
Oh yeah, she's super anti-vax. Like, isn't she like she's like a super anti-vax and all that shit? Like, she's looking into like whatever, like freebasing, like stinging nettle roots and shit. Like, she's like into all that shit. Yeah.
In 2009, he stated, "In this growing crisis, we cannot afford to blindly trumpet the agenda of the CDC, the American Academy of Pediatrics, or vaccine makers. Now more than ever, we must resist the urge to close this book before it's been written." He also blasted Governor Jerry Brown, calling him a fascist in 2015. Yeah, I'm still here.
Oh, okay, cut out for a sec. I think it's on my end.
Well, thanks for ruining the podcast. Fuck you. No, there's some tweet he sent out in 2016 of him with a bunch of ghouls, and it says, "Save our vaccines, save our kids, lest the truth be known."
Oh my god, that's so funny.
And then he sent out another tweet. He sent out another tweet that says, "Greed trumps reason as Gov Brown moves closer to signing vaccine law in Cali. Sorry, kids, it's just business." And then a frowny face with that little less than sign as the nose that he always uses.
Oh my god. The fucking Ace Ventura Pet Detective is an anti-vaxxer, man. I don't fucking know what to make of this.
You know who else is an anti-vaxxer?
Did you?
Who?
Rob Schneider is an anti-vaxxer.
Oh my god.
Like, as if he wasn't already the least likable person in Hollywood. And here's the other one.
Is he a Scientologist too?
No, but here's another one. Do you want me to break your heart?
Yes.
Robert De Niro is an anti-vaxxer.
No.
Yeah,
no.
He publicly questioned whether vaccines are linked to autism and promoted the anti-vaccine film Vaxxed and partnered with Robert F. Kennedy Jr. in the World Mercury Project.
Oh my god.
Oh.
The fucking like. I think when the anti-vaxxers crossed the line was when they were like promoting, like when they went to like working class Somali communities and like Minneapolis or whatever, and were promoting that shit.
Are you all hearing Moby in the background?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
Fuck
okay.
Moby, you can get fucked by Obi. That was a lyric that Eminem
Yeah.
once
Did
said.
you hear about his new tattoos?
No.
Apparently, I heard something like he got vegan tattoo, like the word
Did he
vegan
get a scalp
tattooed on his
tattoo?
face.
Did he get a scalp tattoo? He should get like a huge scalp tattoo, like a spiderweb scalp tattoo.
Yeah, well, apparently he got a face tattoo. I actually have not seen a picture of it yet, but
Nobody
Teardrop?
listens to techno no more.
Didn't Moby
He's
have like
going
a
hardcore.
little, like, not quite Me Too, but like kind of thing with Natalie Portman or something?
Yes, he did. And I wasn't my choice to listen to Moby. My friend wanted to listen to Moby earlier.
I mean, it's
And
still good music, you know. Like
No,
it wasn't. It was like weird. Like Natalie Portman was 20 and he was 30. Like it was like.
He was like 38.
Oh, okay. That's a little creepier. That's a little bit.
It was kind of. I mean.
No,
and
look, we can all
apparently he
like
was just
Moby's
weird.
music and acknowledge just from looking at any picture of him that, yeah, he's probably as creepy as Natalie Portman says. Like, I'm not shocked by that news. That's
I
not
just
breaking
have an
news.
Interaction with him is
I have a
intrinsically
distinct
creepy.
memory of Moby on MTV, like Cribs or something, and it's just like his 12th floor apartment in New York City, and there's a bunch of records, and I don't know, but I really want to
Moby's-
see the.
Yo,
Moby's
this is
entire
MTV
apartment
Cribs.
was-
We're in our homie Moby's house. What you gotta say, Moby? This is my cat, Selma. She's a good girl,
Moby's
but
in-
she gets pretty shy around strangers. Hold your hand out. Let her sniff you. She feels more comfortable if you let her sniff you first.
Moby's entire apartment in New York City was once home to 12 separate apartments that all had 12 separate Dominican families in it, and then now half of it is just his cat's apartment. It's just
Wouldn't surprise me. But does he believe in owning cats because he's vegan?
I don't know. That's a
Wait,
vegan gray area.
Is
It's like
owning a
honey.
cat anti-vegan?
Well, some vegans are anti-owning pets.
How can you be a vegan and even live in New York City? Because New York City kills millions of rats a year. Like in the city of New York City has to slaughter millions upon millions of rats to sustain itself. And rats are very intelligent animals. They pass the mirror test and everything.
But do they pass the Bechdel test?
I don't
Riddle
know.
me that,
probably,
sexist.
Yeah, probably. When those rats, when the rats from that fucking when they form a ball and are all just fucking each other, there's probably some lesbian stuff going on. So I
Ratatouille
think
doesn't
so.
pass the Bechdel test, so why should I believe that rats do? That's my question.
Yeah, that's a good point. Actually,
Yo, you know what movie totally passes the Bechdel test that I can't get over?
Wait, what movie passed the Bechdel test?
Human Centipede totally passes the Bechdel test.
It transcends the Bechdel test. There's so many orifices being sewn on the other orifice.
Oh my goodness. It's tough to see, you know.
Yeah, no,
Imagine-
I've watched all 3 Human Centipedes multiple times, and I gotta say,
Why?
there's very few franchises that have as many diminishing returns as Human Centipede. The first one's so good. Say what you will, man, but it's an effective horror movie based on the dumbest premise ever. The
Right.
second one is artsy, and it's too extreme, and it's unpleasant, but I'm glad I watched it. The third one might be the worst movie I think I've ever seen in my life, and I'm not saying that with hyperbole. It might be the one that actually offended me.
Interesting.
Oh wow. So you saw it. How many times did you watch Human Centipede 3?
I only saw that twice. I watched it the first time and was horrified, and then later with some friends, they didn't believe me that it was that bad, and I was like, no, this movie. Do you know the premise of the third one?
No, but I was going to say, when you said you had watched it multiple times, I was thinking that you had watched it Human Centipede 3 times, and it was just a masochistic endeavor for you or something.
Well, I gotta say, there was a period of time where I hadn't seen The Godfather, and of course I'm a film major, and one of the big jokes is that I would always tell people, I've owned The Godfather on VHS since 8th grade, have not seen it for almost a decade, but you know what I have seen twice? Human Centipede 3. 2 times I could have watched The Godfather and instead went, no, I'm gonna watch Human Centipede 3 instead.
Oh my god. Yeah.
But yeah, the premise of that movie is literally that there's a prison that they've opened up, and the director of Human Centipede, Tom Six, shows up as himself and convinces them to make all of the prisoners just be in one giant human centipede as like quote unquote a satire of like the prison system, but it's not really satirizing anything. It's pretty horrible.
It's like one of those
Right.
classic, like, it's not actually satirizing the prison system in order to condemn the horrible atrocities that could occur in the United States prison system. It's just like, oh, this is a satire of the prison system, but it's just like an excuse to like have gratuitous scenes of like prisoners raping each other and being made into a human centipede.
Oh yeah, there's like a scene
Yeah.
where like
Yeah.
he rapes his assistant basically, and then he eats a bunch of dried African clits, pours boiling water on a prisoner, and then wraps himself in an American flag and like looks at the camera and is like, "I'm an American. Get it? Do you get it? Do you understand my
my
satire?
God.
This is supposed to," and he has like a George W. Bush drawl. So like it's
Yeah.
but like it came
Got
out
him.
in like 2015, so it's like way after the Bush administration. So already the satire is like pointless.
It's not like some vintage, like some classic Bush era political satire. It's not like that like bumper sticker that says a village in Texas has lost its idiot. It's not like even quaint like Bush era political satire.
No,
Like,
it's just cruelty disguised as satire. And frankly, I'm glad that most people haven't seen it. Like it's not
Yeah,
even one that's worth watching for the lulz. It's just
It's
really
the
that bad.
It's a rightfully forgotten film. What I don't understand is why they haven't done the logical thing with Human Centipede. I mean, obviously, it's after Human Centipede 3, they stopped making Human Centipede movies, which is good. But why didn't they do the
Hello?
or
Sorry,
Yes.
you cut out for a second.
That's okay. They do a Human Centipede Ouroboros where they have the Human Centipede, and then they close the circuit and just have a Human Centipede Ouroboros where it's just like a circle of Human Centipedes shitting in each other's mouths like forever and ever. Like that seems like the culmination of Human Centipede to me.
Oh god, there's a new Human Centipede coming out. God damn it.
Oh no.
You're never gonna guess what this shit's called. It just got announced.
Human Centipede Ouroboros? Because that's my pitch. That's my
No,
pitch.
it's called the Human Caterpillar.
What the fuck?
So-
my
so-
idea is way better.
So Human
So-
Caterpillar was a concept coined in Human Centipede 3. I'm so mad about how much lore I know about this. But Human Caterpillar is when you cut off the limbs of all the people, but still sew them out to ass. So they're like a caterpillar.
The Human Centipede Ouroboros is a much better concept. I hope the pedophiles in Hollywood are listening to this podcast right now and greenlight my Human Centipede Ouroboros concept, because that's way better, way more creative than the fucking caterpillar. Like, what the fuck? It's just a human centipede, only their arms and legs are cut off, and they're just gonna bleed out. Like, they're not even gonna eat each other's shit. They're gonna bleed out. Like, that's a dumb idea. Bad pitch, bad idea. Come on.
Oh my god,
Come on. You
his
can do
last line in his Wikipedia page says, Tom Six is currently filming the psychological horror film The Aniana Club, originally due in 2017, but later delayed to 2019, which obviously it didn't come out because it's 2020 now. Six commented on the matter, saying that great art takes time. Jesus Christ. Imagine having a chip on your shoulder about making... The only thing you've made are 3 Human Centipede movies and no other movies.
I need time to produce. I need time to sit in my study, drink a glass of red wine, stare at my like moleskin nose.
Hey, Devin,
What?
did you drop out?
No, wait, did I?
Yeah, it keeps doing
I
that
don't know.
thing where it sounds like you're some B-sides Aphex Twin song.
God damn it.
It's like, dong.
But that was just like a second ago. Hey, have you ever watched Hercules with Lou Ferrigno?
No.
It looks pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Right now, there's a green tint on the screen, so it almost looks like Lou Ferrigno is the Hulk.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Wait, Hercules, no Hercules.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it exists.
All right.
It might not be half bad. I like
Yeah.
Lou Ferrigno.
This might be
Okay.
a gem.
There was a show I think, called Hercules, where it was Hercules with a dog, but I can't find it anywhere. Did that exist?
Okay, so
I don't know. That might be the Mandela effect.
yeah, okay, maybe Mandela, maybe not. We have to research it. But I have to say the Lou Ferrigno Hercules poster is incredible. It's like, you know those posters, like those 80s action movies posters where the hero is like perched atop a rocky cliff or whatever, and there's like women by his side. It's one of those, but he has a kind of like futuristic sword and shield, and he's battling like a mechanical dragon that kind of looks like a Star Destroyer. And it's shooting a laser at his shield. What is going on with it? And then there's like shit, like outer space shit in the background. Like, what is going on with this?
Right. I think there is like a science fiction aspect to it.
So it's like that guy who made Aeon Flux, like Reign the Conqueror. It's like a Hercules version of that.
In the 80s, yeah. I mean,
okay, I just figured out something. Wait,
yeah.
I just figured out something. Okay, so this is gonna give some context. But when I was a kid, I would always look for this Hercules dog movie I swore I saw, right? And
right.
every fucking day, I would always turn on Hercules: The Legendary Journeys. Do you remember that show, Hercules? It was like a New Zealand Hercules show that had 6 seasons.
It was not the Xena spinoff, not the Xena Hercules.
No, it starred Kevin Sorbo as Hercules.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, they had it on like MST3K, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
So I'd watch this show all the time. Because I kept going, I was like 6. I was like, I kept just assuming, like, oh, the dog will show up. It's just at a scene without him. And eventually my mom would come down. She saw, like, a bunch of people stab someone. She's like, what are you watching? I was like, no. There's a Hercules show with a dog. And that's what I thought it was. And I got away with that, like, 3 times. I just looked it up.
Yeah.
Do you know why I think there's a Hercules show with a dog, probably? It's because there was the Hercules was the name of the fucking dog in the Sandlot. I think I just fabricated that.
When I was a kid, I was obsessed with like Super Mario and like.
Wow, what a unique story! Tell us more.
So fucking.
What did you do? Skip school and play Super Mario World and eat hot Cheetos or something?
Well, we all did that. But.
Right.
I was homeschooled, bitch. That was half of my education, basically.
Yeah. Super Mario taught us the aerodynamics of whatever. But
it just taught me that Italians are all fat plumbers that shouldn't be trusted.
Taught us to distrust Italians intrinsically, because Bowser. All right, here's my theory.
They
about
all
Super
stomp
Mario
on turtles. That's a stereotype about the Italian community.
He's just brutally stomping turtles to death.
If you go to Italy, they do it just for fun. They have a holiday called Turtle Stomping Day where they just fucking murder. It's a genocide, basically.
That's so fucked up.
Oh my God.
That's so fucked up.
Yeah, Italy's hashtag canceled, dude.
Fucking canceled right now. So here's my Mario theory: is that Bowser and Princess Peach are colluding with each other. It's like Russiagate. They're colluding. And the Bowser kidnapping Peach is all staged because the Toads are the proletarian underclass of the Mushroom Kingdom, and the Koopas are the proletarian underclass of whatever Bowser's Lava Kingdom is. And the Princess Peach and Bowser are colluding together to pretend there's this fake kidnapping to inspire nationalist rivalry between the oppressed Toads and the oppressed Koopas. When really it's actually Princess Peach and Bowser who are in charge of this aristocratic system. And Mario is being used as an unwitting patsy in this whole thing because of his working class appeal as he's a plumber or whatever. He's helping. But really he's just an unwitting patsy. That's why Peach never puts out for him either, because the whole thing is a facade.
That's way better than my theory. I just thought that Mario couldn't get it up unless there was a kidnap. I thought it was all their it was just their foreplay.
it's just like his fucking kink. Mario just sees like fucking like Bowser's in on it. Like the three, it's just like a thing to spice up their sex life.
Oh, Bowser views it as an imposition. He's got a lot of shit to do every day. He doesn't want to kidnap Peach again. It's just like Mario's an old friend, and like he can't say no to him. But he's not happy about it. It's just something he kind of it's like kind of how you have to like let your brother stay over every once in a while whenever he gets kicked out again from like Walmart for like creeping people out when he's greeting them. It's just an imposition on his part.
One of the Koopa kids is like having a meeting with Bowser, and he's like, "Yeah, like like exports are down on World 7. We really need to handle this." And then like he gets like a text message from Mario, being like,
I need you to kidnap my girlfriend. And he's like, God damn it.
He's just like
this shit again. How long is this game gonna go on? And he's like, I don't know. When is there gonna be Viagra in the Mushroom Kingdom? Oh, never. They were gonna do this forever.
Yeah, I think I might have to resign for the day.
No, you can't resign halfway through. No, we're not halfway. But you can't resign in the middle of our podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, I fold.
No, we've done like an hour, but I think we should still keep going. And Noah, you need to take multiple shots of 5 Hour Energy and just like power through. And
I mean, if I had some whiskey, that would be great.
I mean, ABC store is still open. By the way, shout out to the state of Virginia for accidentally having like state capitalism, like having like state-owned liquor stores, because that's just real nice. The hours are very inconvenient, but the liquor stores are always very clean. The people who run the liquor stores are very well paid, and they're always very friendly and relaxed. They're very well paid.
Oh, that's funny, dude. I live in Maryland, dude. Our liquor stores are basically like just a covered up wall with like one of those little spinny things that you have to put your credit card in, and then you just have to know what liquor they want. This will tell you everything you need to know about the Baltimore liquor system. I went in with a few of my friends recently because we had just left like a club thing, and we were going back to like fucking like play like Smash Bros and just be a bunch of pretend that we're still in high school and not like miserable 20 to 30 somethings living out the rest of our life until we die. And so we're like, all right, let's go to this place. We want to get White Claws. So I asked him for White Claws, and the dude literally is like, what? And we're like, White Claws. And he's like, oh, those things. And he grabs White Claws, and they don't have like 6-packs. They just have them single. So we're like, we like a 6-pack of White Claws. And he like marks them up, and he's like, it says 3 per White Claw. That seems like a lot. That's like $17 for a 6-pack. I'm like, yeah, that does seem like a lot. And he kind of looks at me confused, and I realize, oh, we're like the first white people to ever come in here, and literally no one's ever ordered a White Claw before. So he like gives us like the tall boys for like half price, which was not, the math that was needed, but it was appreciated clearly. But it just goes to show like in Baltimore, the drinking style is more you get like a can of Coke and then like a thing of whiskey and then pour it into the Coke, and you've got like a half and half rum and Coke.
The bodegas in Richmond will like fucking take a 12-pack of PBR and just cut it in half and just like tape it up with like fucking like packing tape and sell it as a 6-pack, which I fucking love. That's fucking amazing.
Oh, it's incredible! It's brilliant.
Yeah, every time I go to a liquor store up north, like it's funny because like Virginia is like not only like the reactionary capital of the Confederacy and like the birthplace of racism, like the birthplace of white supremacy, and like the capital of the Confederacy and all these other things, and like fucking like the Confederate White House is like basically the state capital. And like all this shit, and you fucking go to the capital, Richmond, the capital of Virginia, and there's like Robert E. Lee and so on, monuments everywhere. Like not only is it that, but also like hyper capitalist because Northern Virginia, but like because of its Puritanism, we have like state-run liquor stores. And whenever I go up north, I'm reminded of like like the whole like fallacy of the free market, because privately owned liquor stores are such fucking shitholes. Like they're such fucking. It's just like this fucking like you just walk in and like it's barely. There's not even like fucking tiles. Like it's just like grody ass like old tiles that like drunks have like spilled their fucking like fortified wine and like no one cleaned it up. And then there's just like ads that are basically just like porno. It's just like it's just like just like a screenshot of like someone getting like jizzed on. It's like buy Bacardi, and then like there's like no like the lights just like flickering, and like the dude who owns the store probably like committed war crimes in like the Lebanese Civil War, and is like charging you like $40 for like a tall boy White Claw. Like fucking Virginia ABC stores are so nice, like fluorescently lit, clean, fucking like the fucking cashiers are always in a great mood because they're getting paid like $16 an hour, and like fucking like there's no ads. You just like go in and out, like it's fucking like yeah, like you can't buy liquor, like you have to like buy it between 9 and 5 on the weekdays. It's like a weird fucking thing. That's annoying.
Noah,
like,
stop! What are you doing?
Yes.
Sweeping your floor?
Is that what it sounds like?
Yes, you're making so much noise.
Oh, I'm actually underwater right now.
Oh, that's awesome! You got one of those new underwater phones?
Yeah.
You ever
Wait,
meet
so
a
you
guy
got-
who's really into black coffee, and he's like, I like my coffee black, and it's like, wow, do you have any other interesting personality traits you want to tell us?
Wait, Noah? No, are we talking about Noah?
No.
Yeah.
Noah's
would say, like,
actually an
Noah
interesting
is-
person.
Noah's a connoisseur of black coffee. Like, connoisseur.
No, I like black coffee too. I just know some people who like talk about how they like black coffee a lot, and it's like,
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
oh
Yeah.
no,
As if it's
as if
to
it's
be
something
proud of.
unique instead of the standard way to drink coffee.
Yeah, it's just like the
Right, with a little bit of
coffee.
half and half.
Yeah.
Just you know, no.
It's like
just a
that
little bit.
Dennis Leary bit where he's like, "Why can't you ever buy coffee flavored coffee?" That bit isn't some like I got you society thing. It just makes me go, "Oh, cool." Dennis Leary has no idea how to order from a menu and is probably the worst person that any customer service member could ever meet.
Yeah, he just like Dennis Leary probably just like goes into Starbucks and just like berates like baristas making minimum wage about like, oh, like your soy latte frappuccino, as if like the baristas were in charge of inventing, like they created it. Like, I
Right.
can see Dennis Leary doing that. Yeah, like lighting up a cigarette in Starbucks and be like, oh, you can't smoke in Starbucks anymore, and like just like yeah, fuck that. Also, lattes are delicious. I don't give a shit what anyone says.
I've always had a nightmare, and I don't know if this is realistic or not. I can't imagine this scenario happening, but I've always had a nightmare where it's my job to like escort a bunch of comedians through a grocery store, and I'm like responsible for them. And so like I've got like Jerry Seinfeld like doing, oh, what's the deal with 2%? Why is it just 2%? I want 100%. And I'm like, Jerry, put that down. Like you're letting the cold. And then Dennis Leary's over there like, you've got something for your tits, your ass. You got no food for no stay. And I'm like, Dennis, calm down. And Daniel Tosh is just over there like, rape's funny. And I'm like, no, Daniel. Get back here, Daniel. And then Louis C.K. is like jerking off in a corner. I'm like, Louis, no. This is the bread aisle. Stop.
But guys, seriously, for a moment, I have to say, I have some things to say about the Louis C.K.
All right, thank you. This has been the Zoom Boys. Now, everybody, we're going to play you out with our famous Zoom music. No, wait, this is the Oscar wrap-up music. Wait, this is skits of the Oscar wrap. I fucked up.
Come on, you guys, go.
It's Zoom time. Thank you all for listening. This podcast is not brought to you by Squarespace. Don't use Squarespace, or do. I don't really know. I've never used it. Have you ever had a website that you wanted to build for your business? I sure don't. I use Facebook or Twitter to promote my stuff like a normal person, but maybe some of you do. Use Squarespace or don't. They don't really sponsor us, so I don't have any impetus to say whether to use it. Squarespace, I don't use it. I've never used it. I've never even heard of it until I started listening to other podcasts, and I'm just trying to fit in. So try Squarespace or don't. They're not sponsoring us. Good night.